found your sheet or no?
What's that?
You found your sheet? You got your
No.
public hearings
Well, I've got it
sheet?
here. I've got it right
Okay.
here. Yep.
Okay.
I got it. That's my backup, but I had it in here last time. Oh. No.
That's after it's okay.
That's what my mother-in-law says, if she gets a break from the veterans
Oh, yeah.
because of my father.
How's the shoulder? Getting better?
Oh, yeah,
Good.
slowly but surely. I still got a couple.
You all set there, Rolly? You're in IT?
I'm live and I'm ready to go.
1 minute.
No easy stuff.
There it is. Okay, 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, I'll call the meeting to order. Okay, we acknowledge we are gathered on Treaty 1 and Treaty 2 territories, that Manitoba is located on the treaty territories and ancestral lands of the Anishinaabe, Anishinaabeg, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota Oete, then Isulane, Ojibwe, Nehitawa. We acknowledge Manitoba is located on the homeland of the Red River Métis. We respect the spirit and intent of treaties and treaty making and remain committed to working in partnership with First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people in the spirit of truth, reconciliation, and collaboration. Motion here. Be it resolved that the minutes of the May 21, 2024 regular meeting of council and of June 4, 2024 special meeting be approved as circulated and posted. Can I have a mover? Councillor Maxwell. Second, Councillor Brown. Any questions? Call for the question. All in favor? Carried. Carried. Be it resolved that the agenda be adopted as presented with the following additions: Waggle Springs donation request. Can I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Councillor Ross moves it. Councillor Rohan seconds it. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. Okay. Carried. Go for public hearing. Be it resolved that the meeting recess to a public hearing on the following matter: CU 006-24-C and V 003-24-C. Can I have a mover? Councillor Rohan moves it. Councillor Brown seconds it. Anybody any questions? Call for the question. All in favor? Carried. Okay, I'll read over the public hearings. We've got 5 of them, so that'll set the stage here. The purpose of the public hearing is to receive representations from the applicant and any persons who wish to make them concerning. We will hear from the applicant, then from the presenter, who will wish to make representation, starting with anyone who wants to speak in favor of the proposal. At the end of the presentation, the applicant will have an opportunity to respond. If the response that the applicant supplies new information or raises new issues, then the others will be given the opportunity to speak again. At the end of each presentation, the members of council may ask for clarification from the speaker or on any fact or issue, but will not enter into a debate. Persons speaking must address the chair. If they have questions that they think the applicant should answer, they should raise them in the presentation to the chair. The applicant will have the opportunity to respond to questions when the other presentations are finished. This is also not the time to question the members of council. Under the Planning Act, the purpose of the public hearing is for council to receive representations, and a discussion or argument involving members of council is inappropriate. Okay. Now, just a second here. Okay. So the public hearing is open. The first one is non-farm dwelling. So maybe give, we got the manager here of Keystone Planning. Brad, will you come up and just give the audience and council heads up on the first one here?
So this is conditional use, and the one following this are kind of tied together. There's an existing subdivision currently with 2 lots, with 9.55 acre lot and 11 acre lot. Tyler Warburg is the applicant and landowner on one. Luke and Anita Van Winsberg are landowners on the other. Basically, the west lot is going from 11 acres down to 3.5 acres. And the east lot is going to surround that west lot, increasing from 9.55 acres to 17 acres. So the actual area of the subdivision isn't going to change. It just manipulating the property lines of that existing subdivision. So for the east lot, variation also with it, increasing maximum size from 10 acres to 17 acres for a non-farm dwelling. And on the west lot, with the west property line moving, there's a variation required for a shed, an existing shed, to go from 25 feet down to 12 feet. So, yeah, it's part of subdivision number 4116-238557.
Good. Thanks, Brad. Yeah, call you back later. Yeah. Tyler, can you come to the chair and explain what you want to do out there?
What do I want to do?
Yeah.
Not much. Kind of keep it as status quo.
Yeah.
I have it fenced off right now for the cows to go graze out there, and I just want to continue. That's it. I don't want to lose it.
Right on. Great. That's all you have for council?
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anybody else in the audience want to speak in favor of this application? Is there anybody in the audience that wants to speak against this application? Nobody? That's the last call. Well, nobody else wants to speak. I'll have a motion to close this public hearing for this application. Councilor Brown is the mover. Councilor Ross seconds it. Council have any questions? Call for the question. All in favor? Public hearing is closed. No. Okay. So we are wait, the next one here, right? 4.3. Okay. Actually, I made an error here. We're going to have to go back into, be it resolved that the meeting be recessed for a public hearing on the following CU 007, 24C and B 004, 24C for the variation. Can I- or-
It's scheduled for
state-
7:20,
What's
so
that?
it's scheduled for 7:20?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that one was short. Okay, we'll move down to
Communications, number 7.
5, eh? Yeah, report for committees, because we got everything else It's public hearings, so any reports of committees?
I
Yep.
was gonna do something for the transportation.
Yep, go ahead.
Last meeting, right?
Yep.
We had,
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, just a minute. Hold
Yep.
on. Right at the start, we met with the engineers on the water treatment study. But this was, the actual transportation committee was afterwards, that was on the 23rd. We discussed some ditching on Road 50 again, and I think the public works guys would really like to see it quit raining, because they can't catch up to anything else, so it's tough to go look at stuff, so we haven't proceeded any further, but we discussed it again. We again touched on the speed limit request, reduction request on 459 Gray Road and, around Gray Road. We straightened out the 50th Street speed limit issue there was. And we got some quotes for paving, and we've already handled those at a special meeting as well as the micro city. We also discussed the Marsden Road range. There was talk of the stop sign removal, which I'm not sure where that's gone, but we talked about getting some input from the constable. That's at Curry's Landing in Roads 57 north. We talked about the Patricia west of 18th Street, which was in terrible shape. It's actually handled by the city as a boundary road. From what I understand, it's been fixed. So that's good.
For a week.
For now. And we talked about tile drainage and whether we should be looking at some kind of bylaw for tile drainage and some kind of permitting. So that's something that's up in the air with the bylaw committee at this time. And we were provided a sample of one from another island. And we talked about Lake Clemente and the fact we weren't getting our grant money that we requested, and discussed hiring out consultant to do licensing. And I guess that was, oh no, there was a couple of other things. Some signage on Silky and Marsden and Children Plant. Public Works were gonna look into that. And there was also some gravel issues on Chalmers Road. And we spoke a little bit about the municipal building. And I think that's gonna come up. So that was the transportation meeting on May 23rd. Then on May 24th, we had a on-site meeting. Saturday, or was the 25th of May, the council of Cornwallis was invited by Jan Grant, the property owner of Lake Clemente, to view the current water level and the impact on the yard as a result of the recent heavy rain, and if you remember, the snow. All the councilors attended, and I thanked Holly for allowing the public works forum to come as well, because he had some history on it. So also attending were 3 councilors from Openwell Mesa. It's obvious the lake level's up, high water and wave action are damaging the property, most recently restored by disaster financial assistance in 2022. And the property owner also identified some septic field issues due to saturation and high water table. This is rather evident with low-lying areas around the property without attached drains rising along with the lake level through ground seepage. So what we had there was a worst-case scenario where the downstream properties were already seeing high runoff to the west due to the rain and snow, and put us in a precarious position. If we were forced to release water, we would have to control it. Clearly, it's not the intent of our Cornwallis to negatively affect downstream residents, but a state of emergency would have to be done with control to increase the flow only once the regular runoff is through. And so as the chair of the transportation committee, there's a couple of motions that we put forward at the next regular meeting, which is tonight. And you'll have to decide where we go from there. So I will give you a copy of that order for the file.
Thanks, Councilor Maxwell. Yeah. Did you want to give a report on the utility meeting you had with Mr. Burns, just to,
Well, we had Burns Mandel here to discuss the next steps for the water treatment and the lagoon for Spruce Woods water treatment plant for Grand Valley. And there's ongoing.
no, that's good, thanks, Jim. Yeah. Councilor Ross, appreciate it. Yeah, that's good. Ongoing, two big major projects. So, you got a police board update?
We haven't done that.
You haven't had one? No?
Hopefully next week. maybe.
Yeah, okay, and there's been no other committee meetings, so we'll have a motion to receive the verbal reports. Councilor Grohan moves it. Need a second. Councilor Ross seconds it. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. Okay. Still got some time. Petitions, communications. Be it resolved that the council accept the communication as presented. They're all in front of us. Have a mover. Councilor Grohan, Councilor Brown. Anybody have any questions? No? Okay. I'll call for the question. All in favor? Carried. Okay. Give me a second. Still got 4 minutes. We'll go down to accounts, 8.1. Okay. Be it resolved that the payroll accounts be approved for payments as follows. Direct deposit payroll on May 30th, 2024, $16,085.45. Direct deposit payroll on June the 13th, 2024, $10,982.14, for a grand total of $27,067.59. Councilor Grohan moves it. Councilor Maxwell seconds it. Anybody got any questions? Call for the question. All in favor? Carry. Yeah. Thanks. Okay, we're at 8.2, Councilor. So be it resolved that council approve the list of accounts for expenses from checks numbered 12,079 to 12,140 for a grand total amount of $667,339.84. And be it further resolved that council approve the May council indemnities and expenses for the amount of $4,559.65. Can I have a move? Councilor Ross, Councilor Brown seconds it. Anybody have any questions? Reason so high, I think we made the second payment of the graders a four-month check, so I think they're both mostly paid for now, so, yeah. Nobody has any questions, call for the question. Carried. Okay. Still got a few minutes here. 8.3, be it resolved that the unaudited financials for the month of May 2024 be accepted as presented. Councilor Brown. The second, Councilor Grohan. Anybody have any questions? Call for the question. All in favor? Carried. 8.4, be it resolved that the May 2024 bank reconciliation of the general reserves and utility accounts be accepted as presented. Need a mover. Councilor Grohan. Councilor Brown seconds it. Anybody have any questions? All in favor? Carried. 8.4, be it resolved that the May 2024 bank reconciliation for the general reserve and utility,
Just
is that the one, sorry, got too many things here.
so it's the next one, 8.5. I had it on there, and now we're going to have to table it.
You want to table that one?
The 8.5,
Yeah.
I've added that in there,
Yeah.
table to the special meeting. The municipal board said Friday they were hearing our bylaw
Yeah,
that we're waiting for. And I've since emailed and phoned.
so, yeah. So we'll table
Still no
it.
response. I was
Yeah.
hoping they'd say, yes, you're good to go, but
Yeah. Okay, we'll just,
no, they haven't.
no action. Okay. Next one. Bylaws, we'll do 9.1. Be it resolved that bylaw 164409, 2013A, being a bylaw to amend the capital development levy bylaw to exempt farm dwellings and yard lot being subdivided off from the ag land, be hereby read the second time. Can I have a move? Councilor Brown, Councilor Maxwell. Yeah. Before I'll just get, talk to Holly before, if council would allow me, get Holly to explain your findings when you gave us that report. Can you just give us a verbal report, a quick one, and then I'll go into discussion.
Yeah.
What you found there. A few months back.
Well, so we have in place that every lot pays the capital lot levy fee.
Yep.
And that bylaws since what, 09 it's been in place.
The 13A.
Oh yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
13.
Okay.
But I just found that you were approving the farm residents being subdivided off from the ag land and not applying this levy. So if you're not abiding by your bylaw, then you either have to start applying it or change your bylaw. So that's why I've put this in place. It was apparently the common practice, but never actually written. So that's what it's
Good.
doing here.
Thanks, Holly. Yeah. It was a good catch. Anybody have a question? I'm just gonna make a comment. I supported the first time, but after reading Holly's report, I'm not gonna support this. The reason being, we're asking any other developer out there to pay that lot levy. And then when we go allow a farm residence to be subdivided, we're saying we'll let that go. So I'm now having second thoughts. I mean, that's the nice thing about 3 readings. I think we should collect the $2,500. And at the previous meeting and talking to another CEO, just out of general conversation in this office, they do that as well. They collect it because there's going to be extra traffic there, and it helps administration. There's a lot of paperwork involved with these kind of situations. So I'm going to change my mind from my first reading. I'm not going to support waiving it. So anybody else have anything?
Well, I would like to be in favor of this because I can remember years ago when we brought the lot fee in, it was the intent for large subdivisions. And that was, the fee was to kind of cover unforeseen costs, maybe down the road for the subdivision that was put in a separate reserve. And it was there if we needed it to do any jobs down the road. So I'm totally in favor of this resolution.
Yeah, that's fine. Anybody else? Any question?
I think there is a certain amount of work that happens behind the scenes that, normal ratepayers don't see or know about, with registering the title with land titles and all that type of stuff that happens. Yes, there are legal fees that they pay to do some of that work, but there's also work that happens here at the municipal office that isn't recouped. So, and I agree with you that for a large subdivision, we should have that large fee, but there's still a small amount of work that happens for a single lot, so there should be a fee. I'm not saying it needs to be the full $2,500, but I think that there should be an administration fee for doing this.
So just to be clear, this is a reserve. The money is to go into reserve for capital development. Like it helps. So, yeah, that's not really what this bylaw is for. It's not to cover the expenses of doing this. They would do that through their subdivision application. But it's more to put in place a reserve fund for improvements to our infrastructure is really what it's for. And I guess I should have put the original capital lot levy, like the bylaw in there. That would have explained it better, but.
It was a good explanation. I mean, I hear everybody's concerned, but if we're gonna expect developers to pay the fee, I think it's only fair for everybody to pay the fee. That way, everybody's on the same level playing field. Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
and if you want, you can not give it third reading, and then I can place that capital lot levy in there so we can have a good look at what that is saying for the next third reading, if you wish.
Yeah. Will be council's decision. This is the second reading. So I'll call for the question on this one. All in favor? Okay.
Oh, excuse me, Sarah,
Yeah.
before you, so you're saying you can change it a little bit? Is that what you're saying? Or you just want to put it in there to explain it better?
Yeah, I'm just saying if you want for the third reading, I can place that bylaw in there so you can have a look at what that bylaw covers, like what it says in the bylaw.
Okay, clear? Yeah. Okay. I'll ask the question again. All in favor? Okay. Against? Okay. Carried. Hmm. Oh, just give me a second. I just lost my computer here. Okay. Actually, it's 7:25, so we'll come back to the third reading when we, after the public hearings. Okay, we'll go to the 4.2. Okay, there we go. Okay, be it resolved that the meeting be recessed for a scheduled public hearing for the following matters: CU 007-24-C and B 0-004-24-C. Can I have a mover? Okay, Councilor Drohan. Councilor Maxwell seconds it. All in favor? Okay, recess to scheduled public hearing on the 4.2. Brad, we'll get you to come back up, please.
So for this one, this is the second half of the subdivision that we discussed in the earlier conditional use. So this will be for the lot 2, the west lot, being reduced down to 3.5 acres, allowing lot 1 to surround it. Realigning that west property line creates the variation for the shed, reducing that west property line from 25 feet down to 12 feet.
Good, thank you. Mr. Warburton, you want to have something to say there? Or you have something?
Not really, it's kind of the same as before.
Yeah, that's fine. We got to give you an opportunity.
Yeah.
You're the applicant, so.
But the shed
Yeah.
never bothered me.
Yeah. Anybody in the audience that wants to speak in favor of this application? Okay, anybody wants to speak against this application? Nobody. Okay, I'll have a motion to close the public hearing then. Councilor Brown, Councilor Ross, did you even second?
Yeah.
Okay, call for the question. All in favor? Public hearing is closed. Okay. Now, 4.3. Be it resolved that the meeting be recessed from scheduled public hearing on the following matter: B 0-005-24-C. Can I have a mover?
So that's not, sorry.
What?
That's not till 7:35.
Oh.
And I'm sorry, it's just that if
Okay,
somebody's
oh,
here
I
to
see you got
speak
the
to
time
it,
there.
yeah,
I'm
if
sorry.
somebody's here to
That's my
speak to
mistake.
it
Yeah,
and
I
we
didn't see
start
that.
early, they might miss
Yeah.
it, so.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go to third reading here. Does council want to proceed with third reading on the capital levy bylaw? How do you guys feel? Or do you want to, we've got no pressing need to move forward, or we can just deal with it? How does council feel? We can ask the CEO to make some amendments.
She can bring more information. and we can
Okay.
consider it.
Yeah, okay, good, thanks. So we'll defer to another meeting. 9.2. Be it resolved that bylaws,
After that,
what's that?
table for special meeting.
To 9. Oh, yeah, that's the one we did. Yeah, okay. 9.3, be it resolved that bylaw 1730, 2024 being a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw number 1664, 2016, and PT Northwest 22, 1017 WPN, more specifically Lot 3, Lot 4, Plant 1813, reclassified from RR5 to RR2, be hereby read a first time. Okay. Have a move.
I will move that.
You will move that. Council Maxwell moves that. Can I have a seconder?
They'll make their decision, yes or no, and let you know
Councillor Brown.
what to do. It might be this
Hey,
week.
do you have any information?
Well, from my understanding,
Yep.
this is something that's gonna trigger a public hearing. right?
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
So I just, yeah,
Trigger a public hearing, okay?
it'll trigger a public hearing. So-
Yeah, okay then. Anybody have any questions? You, Tyler? Okay, nobody have a question? All in favor? Yeah, trigger, carried. It's gonna trigger a public hearing. Okay. So, 7:35, you say, eh? You got the time there?
Yeah, 5
For that
minutes.
other one, backing up here. Yeah, we got another 5 minutes. Just jumping around on the agenda. Okay. Bylaws, give me a second. Okay. Unfinished business, 10.1, okay. Right, 10.1?
Hmm?
Yeah, then we'll move back up. Okay, whereas Sampson Engineering completed a Lake Clementi assessment and solution report, which included consultations with project stakeholders and landowners, and was funded by the 2022 Disaster Financial Assistance, DFA, deductible under the Mitigation and Preparedness Program, MPP. Be it resolved that council approve Adizes Consulting to review the Sampson report and history along with field inspections and the license application for the quoted cost of $1,050 plus license application of $500. Can I have a move?
I'll move that.
Councillor Maxwell moves that. Have a seconder. Councillor Brown. You got something to say there, Councillor Maxwell?
No, this has been ongoing for a while. I believe it goes back to sometime in November of last year. We're planning to go for the license. So we're just gonna push it forward. These guys know what they're doing, so we'll get someone to come in and do it with skill.
You got something, Brown? Councillor Brown?
Pretty much said it.
Anybody else? I'm not gonna support it. For the very reason, we've got 2 written letters from the homeowner or from the property owner where we need, as per the plan from the Sampson report, he's only got 1 plan, and that property owner has given us in writing that he doesn't want to see drainage tile on there. And to me, we're putting the cart before the horse. I think we need to talk to the property owner first, and in reaching out to Oakland Wawanesa, head of council there, they want to get involved. We had them at meetings, but they want to know what the intent is. They've got effective property owners downstream, they really are concerned with the liability that we could be causing here. I'd like council to take a step back. I'm not gonna support spending any more money until we have all the stakeholders, including Mr. Carroll, where we have to put the licensed drainage tile or whatever on his property. He's already given us 2 letters in writing. He's not gonna allow us, so I can't see us wasting $1,550 for a consultant that's not gonna convince Mr. Carroll to do that. So at the end of the day, I'm not gonna support that.
Yeah, Mr. Chairperson, this is a really unfortunate situation, and I really feel for the homeowners down there. I echo the thought that, Mr. Carroll's doesn't want to see any water coming across his property, and I don't want to put the water downrange to those people. They don't want the water. Yes, we're outsourcing the obtaining of a license to somebody else, which is good. Takes the work off of our CAO, but what happens next when we get the license? That work's going to come back, and we've already got an overburdened administration that, what's next that is going to be put on our CAO's plate.
And I've talked to the province. We don't own the lake. Municipality, we don't take
That's
ownership.
exactly the case. We do not own the lake. So what we are obligated to do based on the mandate, we gave our engineer, who by the way failed us because he had given us a letter. I had a letter that he sent us in September, said he was going for the license, and we never did. Now, they failed us, but we can't stand still. We gotta move forward. And this consultant will deal with the landlord, who, by the way, you said has sent letters. There's been no letter to council that I've seen. He may have sent a letter to me personally, but nothing has come to council. If you can find it, I'd like to read it. Okay, nothing has come here. We have to continue on. What are we gonna do? We're just gonna sit in our chairs here and wait? And what happens if the water comes up and something has to be done? Then what? The province will come and they'll say, well, did you guys do all the things that we gave you the money to do? And we'll say, yeah, we did everything except we didn't go for the license. Go for the license. If we're not successful, so be it. We go back to the province and say, hey, it's your water. You do something with it. So I believe we are come to the point where we have to go for this part. It's the last step before construction and commissioning. It's on the list the engineer gave us. Go for the license. If we don't get it, we don't get it.
The report that's on your computer there, the CEO has done a lot of work here. She's reached out to the director
Yeah, I
in
know,
water
I saw
stewardship.
it.
You need sign off from Mr. Carroll. I'm using a name here.
Okay, and what, and who else, and what else? We don't know. Is there other things holding it up? If not, then that's all we need. So we go back to the province and say, hey, this is where we're at. We, as a council, we can't just sit on this thing.
Well,
We've been sitting.
can't you tell council with the 2 letters we've got from the property owner?
2 letters we've got, or 2
Yeah,
letters?
2
he's
letters
got?
that this council has received.
And when
I
did we
sent it to
receive
you
one?
here a week ago.
That's not a letter to council. What the CAO should get a letter from.
What? It was addressed to the CEO. Yeah.
Well, then, was that one, was the one that was sent at midnight? All I'm saying to you is, this is what we need to do as a council. We have to get forward, go for the license. If we don't get it, we don't get it. I'm not here to say we have to get it. I'm just saying we have to at least address it because we were given money to do it. We spent $38,000 and that was in it, getting the license and permits. We didn't get it. So we're gonna have to spend a little more. That's a penalty on us. We should have had this done.
You should have, but the property owner needs to
I
sign
don't
it.
care. He's got to sign. If he doesn't sign it, that's fine. It's his property.
So what are you gonna do if he's not?
Nothing. What am I gonna do? Like I've said before, I'm not gonna do anything. It's not up to me. It's up to council. But our job is to get this thing moved forward. Go and try and get the license. If we can't get it, we can't get it.
And
We can't just sit
Chairperson,
here.
yeah, I'm changing my mind. Mr. Maxwell's made a very valid point there.
Yeah.
it was in the initial ask of the engineer.
Well, if it was part of the engineer, we paid him.
We haven't paid him for that part, as far as I know.
Yeah,
He
I
had $1,800 in there to do it. I've got the information right here. He did not do what he was supposed to do. He turned it back to us and said, "You do it, I'll help you." Well, no, we need someone that has skill to go and know who to talk to. Because Holly, I have all the faith in you in the world, but I don't think you need the extra job. And I just believe that someone will criticize the fact we didn't get someone who knew what they were doing to do it. So let's just go forward, hire this consultant to get it done. And that would include dealing with the landowner. It's right on them. That's one of the persons they have to deal with. If they get the door slammed in the face, so be it. We need to move. We
Yeah,
can't just sit.
anyways,
That's fine.
anybody else? Anything? Yeah, I'll call for the question. All in favor? Against? I'm opposed. Yeah, move forward. We'll go back to the public hearing now, 7:35. Okay. Be it resolved that the meeting be recessed for a scheduled public hearing on the following matter V00005 24C. Is that? Okay, can I have a mover to go to public hearing on the Roski application 4.3? Councillor Ross. Councillor Brown seconds it. Anybody any questions? All in favor? Okay. Brad, would you please come up and explain this one to us?
So Weston Narosky is the applicant. Weston and Suzanne Narosky are the landowners of the above listed property, which is 2.37 acres, located approximately half a mile southwest of Brandon. The front lot is currently undeveloped. He owns the lot directly to the east of the same size, and he's looking to put a shed 50 feet off of his north property line, which would be the front yard. So we would need to reduce the front yard setback from 125 feet to 50 feet. His intention here is to mimic the property he currently owns with a shed in front and the house in behind. And he has expressed his wish to build a dwelling down the road.
Good. Thank you, Brad. Appreciate it. Now, does any councilor have a question for Brad? No, sorry, I forgot to ask that question before. Anybody in the audience that want to speak in favor of this application? Against? Okay, I'll call for the question. Close the public hearing.
Don't we have a bylaw that says you can't have a secondary structure out in front of your primary house without having a variation, or is that what this variation is? We have a bylaw that, I just know because
No,
I
that's
had to apply
Good
for it.
question. I'll leave that for council or
Very
Brad.
one, and it's, as long as the secondary building is used to store materials, build dwellings, express interest, build it.
So he's using this to store materials to build his building?
But it could be used for anything, right? I mean,
After that, yes, after the dwelling.
so the bylaw says that you can't have a structure in front of your primary dwelling without a variation, I believe.
I'll have to go into my bylaw. Because the existing property has a. So I will review that. and I'll go back.
You will review it?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Brad. Yeah. Okay,
Should we table this then?
what's that?
Should we table this?
Yeah, I think we should table that then until we, that's a good point there, Carla. Yeah, and Brad's gonna do it, so if council's in agreement, well, we'll go through the process here. Does anybody else have any questions before we close the public hearing for Brad to do some research? No? Okay, I'll ask for the question to close the public hearing. Or, a motion, sorry. Councilor Maxwell? The seconder? Councilor Rohan? Any questions? All in favor? Okay, So we should move that until we get that clarified, 4.3 later on. Okay. So now. Delegations at 8 o'clock, so that's it for the public hearings, eh? Yeah, 7:35, yeah.
There's a delegation,
Yeah, at
but
8 o'clock.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's 7:43, so. Okay, we'll move down to where we left off. Okay. Now, we are at 10.1.1, 10.2, but in respect, I would recommend that we defer those until we hear from the delegation, because it is about that. 10.2. Okay. Municipal Board, 10.3. Whereas the Municipal Board has received an appeal with respect to Lot 12, Plan 65963 in northwest corner 241018W, be it resolved that the CAO provide the Municipal Board with the requested information before the matter can be scheduled. And further resolved that Council authorize municipal lawyer Greg Tramley, as well as professional planner, to represent the municipality at the board hearing. Can I have a mover? Council Ross, Council Durham seconds it. Any questions? Okay, I'll call for the question. All in favor? Yeah, carried. Mhm. Okay, next one, 10.4. Whereas the municipality has received 3 unsolicited offers to purchase, donate Cornwallis owned land within the city of Brandon limits, known as 1850 Frederick Street. And whereas these offers have been reviewed in camera by a committee of the council, therefore be it resolved that council does not accept any offers, and further resolved that the municipality retain the services of an appraiser to determine the current market value of the said property. Can I have a mover?
So I just want, I have 2 additional, an email with the map that I've added. So I just added those. I received them late. I don't know if we still want to go forward with this or we want to discuss this more in camera.
Okay, when I read it last night, I didn't see those additions.
No, I'm saying
Oh,
I
you
just
added
I've
it.
just added them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They
Yeah,
just,
we can table that.
yeah.
So no, we don't have a mover or seconder, so we'll just skip over it. I didn't realize there was more additions to it. Okay, sorry about that, Molly.
Let's see.
10.5. Be it resolved that council authorize the Reeve to sign on the Westman aerial spraying request to Transport Canada. And I have a mover. Yeah, Councilor Maxwell, seconder. Councilor Brown. Anybody any questions? I'll make a comment. I got a phone call late last Friday, and they had some deadlines to meet, Westman aerial spraying, and it was Holly had to deal with some family issues there, so they needed that signature because the Transport Canada representative, according to Mr. Lewis, was leaving town and had deadlines. He needed that signature, so I did sign that document and sent it to him. He needed it. He said he can't wait. And I said, well, the way he explained it to me, he in the past had just walked in and the administrative assistant used to sign it. Yeah, and he sent me the copy.
I don't know, I'm sorry, but I don't know. I had sent you a note. Jordan signed it. I know he signed it last year because he had sent me a note and told me that he had signed the form. And
Yeah.
I found that letter, so yeah. He did
Yeah,
sign it.
he couldn't find last year's, but he sent me 2 prior years,
Yeah.
and it was Bev Skordinsky signed it. When I seen that, it was late Friday night. I just signed it, sent it to him, and no offense, I mean, you can sign it as well if you want to sign it, but it's signed already. The base, Transport Canada needed it. They needed to get some spraying done last weekend.
And that's why I
Charlotte.
brought it to council, because I wasn't comfortable with it,
Yeah.
assigning it, and I didn't sign it.
Yeah.
If you folks want to authorize it, I'm still not clear on what I'm authorizing. And well, you can see my notes. I've
Yeah.
contacted several people. He emailed me back and said, "Oh, well, we couldn't get a hold of you." Well, I called Transport Canada twice and they didn't return my calls.
Yeah.
Never have.
Yeah. Yeah. And I happen to know the gentleman, I think it's Trevor Lewis. I
Yeah.
know him through his wife. And when he sent me 2 prior years when I seen Bev Sklodinski, I went into the minutes. I couldn't see any emotions. I thought, well, it's just a formality. And he did explain it to me what it is for. Just Transport Canada just doesn't want any plane flying without a municipality acknowledging it. So we can perhaps send out a notice of some sort if we want to. We're not obligated. So I signed it and sent it back to him. Right.
So yeah, because of the timeliness, that's fine. But I think for next time they need the clear message that notification is fine, but I'm not comfortable with providing authority for something I have no authority to provide.
Anyways, I signed it without a resolution, but prior years I looked in the minutes, it was none. So I'll call for the question. All in favor? Yep, carried. Okay, now we are into general business, 11.1. Whereas the applicant and landowner Tyler Warburton of the property legally described as Lot 1 Plan 29140110011, Road 51 North, roll number 48550, applied for a conditional use order under Part 5, Table 5.2 of the Cornwallis zoning bylaw, number 1664-03-2016, as amended, in order to allow for a non-farm dwelling in the Ag 80. And whereas council held a public hearing to hear representation in favor or in opposition of the application, therefore be it resolved that careful consideration of the application and the representations made for council hereby approves the conditional use application CU 006-24-C. Can I have a move? Councilor Brown moves it. Councilor Maxwell seconds it. Anybody any questions? No? All in favor? Carried. Next one. Whereas the applicant, landowner Tyler Warburton, and landowners Luke and Anita Van Weinsberg of the property legally described as Lot 1, Plan 2171, 110025, Road 51 North, Roll 48600, applied for a conditional use order under Part 5, Table 5.2 of the Cornwallis zoning bylaw, number 1664-03-2016, as amended in order to allow for a non-farm dwelling in the Ag 80. And whereas council held a public hearing to hear representation in favor or in opposition of the application, therefore be it resolved that after careful consideration of the application and any representations made for or against, council hereby approves conditional use application CU 007-24C. Can I have a mover? Councilor Brown, Councilor Maxwell, any questions? All in favor? Carried.
Yeah, like hang on here.
What?
11-1 and 11-2, I think. 11-1.
Well, we did the Warburtons, right?
But there's a variation.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Didn't, 11, there's another variation, okay? I'll go back to 11.11. Okay. Whereas the applicant and landowner Tyler Warburton and the property legally described as Lot 1, Plan 29140, 110011, Road 51 North, Road 48500, applied to council to vary the application of the Cornwallis Municipality Zoning Bylaw number 1664-03-2016 as amended under Part 5, table 5.2, to vary the maximum site area for a non-farm dwelling in the Ag 80 zone from 10 acres to 17 acres. And whereas council held a public hearing to hear representation in favor or in opposition to the application, therefore be it resolved that after careful consideration and of the application and any representations made for or against the application, council hereby approves variation application V0 or VO 00324C. You moving it? Yeah, Councilor Rohan moves it. Councilor Brown seconds it. Any questions? All in favor? Yeah, there. That takes care of all three of the Warburtons, and it's still at 7 minutes. Oh, we got one more here.
But we didn't,
Yeah,
you didn't vote on that,
on which one?
on the,
The building
This-
setback.
well, you didn't
11.2?
vote on 11.2. You read it, but no
Oh,
moving
okay.
and seconding and
I'll have to
voting.
read it again.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, sorry about that. My mistake. Just give me a second, my computer's glitchy here. Okay, there. Whereas the applicant and landowner Tyler Warburton and landowners Luke and Anita Van Rensburg of the property legally described as Lot 1, Plan 2171, 110025, Road 51 North, Roll 48600, applied for a conditional use order under Part 5, Table 5-2 of the Cornwallis zoning bylaw, number 1664-03-2016, as amended in order to allow for a non-farm dwelling in the Ag 80. And whereas council held a public hearing to hear representation in favor or in opposition of the application, therefore be it resolved that after careful consideration of the application and any representation made for or against, council hereby approves conditional use application CU 007-24-C. Now I'll have a motion. Yeah. Councilor Brown, Councilor Maxwell, any questions? All in favor? Carried. Good. So now, 11.2.1. Whereas the applicant Tyler Warburton, yeah, that's the one. Whereas the applicant Tyler Warburton and landowners Luke and Anita Van Winsberg of the property legally described as Lot 1, Plan 8171, 110025, Road 51 North, row number 48600, applied for council to vary the application of Cornwallis zoning bylaw number 1664-03-2016 as amended under Part 5, Table 5.2, to vary the side yard setback for an accessory building in the Ag 80 zone from 25 feet to 12 feet. And whereas council held a public hearing to hear representation in favor and in opposition of the application, therefore be it resolved that careful consideration of the application and any representation made for or against, council hereby approves variation application V0 or VO 004-24-C. Have a mover. Councilor Brown, Councilor Maxwell. Any questions? Call for the question. All in favor? There. Amen. Need to go on. Got 4 minutes. One more. Okay. So then the Roski one, we gotta table that too, right?
Yeah, he's checking.
Oh, is he gonna do it now? Or, okay, we'll skip over that one. And
Yeah,
Brad comes back.
I don't, like, you could approve this one, but I don't think you can really, because you didn't give notice to vary that part. So
Yeah.
I don't think we can really add to this. I mean, we could approve this, but then we're going to have another variation to have that building in front of the house or before the house. So Yeah.
So why don't we wait till we hear from Brad and we can deal with both at the same time, right? Would that make sense, Holly?
yeah, and
Yeah,
then he's
okay.
probably going to have to redo
Yeah. Application. Yeah.
the notice and the
So
application.
11.4, greater Blade, be it resolved that council accept the quote from Capital One Industries for the purchase of one new angle UV grader blade for $69,000 plus $2,500 installation and freight. Further, that the cost be borne by the Equipment Reserve Fund. Can I have the move? Councilor Maxwell? Have a seconder? Councilor Brown? Any questions?
That was on the budget, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's in the reserve, yep. Yep, so, and we see the quote earlier on, so, yeah. Nobody has a question, call for the favor, question, all in favor? Carry. Okay. We got a loader to put it on too. Oh, anyways. Okay. Okay, 11.5. Be it resolved that council accept the quote submitted by Mathewson and Company for policy and procedure update manual services at the cost of $5,000 plus necessary mileage at 42 cents a kilometer. And I have a move. Councilor Rohan. Seconder, Councilor Maxwell. Does anybody have any questions? I'll just make a comment since, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I wondered, would he be involved in this? Like, would we,
That was,
around the table, at
Yeah.
least to look at stuff?
Oh, for sure, definitely, yeah, because we'd have to be approving those, right? Council sets the policies, so.
Individually, or would they be approved as one?
I don't know, I imagine it,
Yeah, okay.
maybe if they're simple ones at the same time, but definitely they'd be going to council, for sure.
Well, I have a question about the mileage. Where are they driving from? How frequently?
Carlisle or both
Yeah,
of them?
there's-
Yeah, it looks like Boys Vein, yeah.
the HR manual is the one that really, we've been trying to get at it since our election. We gotta get it going for our employees' sake. So that's the first one, in my opinion, that we should hone in on. And you will call a personnel committee meeting once we're ready, Ed, or Council Maxwell, to see what changes we want to make and direct her to make those necessary changes. So, but that's the first one, in my opinion, we should deal with, and many others. Okay?
Actually, I think that one's not bad.
Oh,
It's one of the
okay.
better ones, yeah.
Oh, I think we did highlight a few at our meeting. Should be
Mhm.
changed.
It's just that it's long, right? It's,
Yeah.
there's a lot of clauses in it. That's the
Yeah.
difference,
Well,
right?
while I agree, this is a steal of a deal for that work. However, this is an unbudgeted expense. Where are we going to get it from?
It's mentioned in there.
Yeah, I did say he feels there is room for it in there, so.
Should that, you'd like that identified where it's coming from?
There is money, like consulting fees, but yes, that is a,
When are they starting?
That'll be up to,
I'm assuming as soon as she's able to.
Should we identify a scope of work,
Yeah.
prioritize which policies and stuff we want her to work on first?
Are you gonna call that policy before
Yes, that's what we have to identify.
At least list the ones we wanted.
Like, again, I think that she has a list of standard policies that are common to all municipalities, and she's going to be looking at ours and seeing if we don't have those specific ones that we have. We can always work on those ourselves. I don't think that's where she's headed with this, just to make sure that we have all the basic policies in place.
Basically, she did a review.
Review what we have, make sure if there's updates that are needed or ones that we don't have, specific ones that we want to work like the HR.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's still, we're going to work on that. That's not saying that she's going to do all policies, just these basic ones.
I heard Lori speak at the Western Caucus in Hartney this spring, and there's a couple of them code of ethics, conflict of interest, and there was a few other ones. You could see she specializes, it sounded like, in that field of work. And she did mention the HR manual. I had a talk with her, and now that Holly's reached out to her, I'm glad that we need to get a few of these policies updated.
Well, yeah, I agree with that 100%. But again, the scope of work is just too ambiguous for me. It's we haven't said what any of our expectations are, and yet we're prepared to enter into a contract here and spend this money without any set
That's
deliverables.
the point. That would be-
Like she could turn around and say, well, here's one policy for this price. I did my job. She
That's a
wouldn't,
good
right?
point, yeah. I mean, I kind of relied on Carrie and Holly to, there's a bunch of them out there, but that's right, we need to give them a list and say, this is the ones that we got priority 1, priority 2, and priority 3s.
So, yeah,
Yeah, a conference call. or
Well,
Zoom
sure, but again, it could change the price.
call. Mhm.
If we say we've got,
agreed to the price, right?
what's that now?
We've already agreed to the price. We voted on it.
Haven't voted on it yet. We could table it, but we've got some policies.
It's a very important thing that we as a council need to do. I agree. But I think it's just too open-ended.
Yeah.
And
Good point.
we might be disappointed if we agree to something that we haven't defined.
Rather than vote on it, we should table it.
so
Yeah,
We can shut it down.
yeah, we could table it. We haven't voted on it yet, so.
do you want to speak with her? Do you want me to ask her conference call?
Yeah.
Yeah, at our next maybe committee meeting?
Sure, yeah.
Well, that's good. Okay.
I like the idea,
Yeah.
but there's
Yeah, that's
gotta be
good.
some parameters.
Okay, so we'll pull it from the agenda. Yeah, okay, it is 8:04 and we'll speed up to delegation. 8:00, Mr. Jordan Sissons is, oh, he's right there. You got 10 minutes, Mr. Sissons.
I'll try and be quicker than 10 minutes. So good evening, Mr. Chair, council, and staff present. My name is Jordan Sisson, a resident of Silky Way, just off Grand Valley Road. So I'm here representing the ratepayers in the area who couldn't join me for various reasons that they had going on tonight. On March 12th, I brought an issue of extreme importance forward to council. And as I stated at that meeting, it was regarding the dangerous state of Marsden Road, specifically the hill at the southernmost point of the road before intersecting with Grand Valley Road. I'll briefly reiterate some of the remarks I made for the record this evening. For the past 10 years, Marsden Road has seen a drastic increase in traffic flow for many reasons, all of which are healthy and beneficial to the RM in ways of taxation, and revenues. What we, the delegation, is seeking from council is the attention be brought to the serious and imminent dangers present with the main roadway connecting the residential and commercial expansion the area is seeing. As snow and rainfalls are needed and bound to happen, we, the residents of the area of Silky Way, watch cars stuck, impeding traffic, unable to go up or down the road from the top of the hill, sliding right across Grand Valley Road, narrowly missing what I would assume would be serious injury or death when a collision occurs on a major highway. Each of us have our own near-miss stories to tell from the area, and we can share those if council would like. A second equally serious hazard we witness is the debris, the clay, the sand, the gravel be washed out, covering Grand Valley Road, causing an area of danger on a provincial highway. Many months of the year, the water runoff and debris cause sudden unexpected patches of mud or ice, depending on what season we're in, which from our vantage point on top of the hill, we watch motorists lose control and narrowly missing the ditch, sometimes ending up in the ditch, which we often end up pulling them out. I, as of today, have forwarded a letter directly to the Minister of Infrastructure detailing this issue out to the department so that they can be involved in the situation also. A report to this council was dated January 2018 by WSP Canada that indicated Marsden Road would be the main route as growth happened throughout the RM and that planning should occur for that to happen. That report, now 5 years old, set a tone and a standard of traffic flow for the area where I live. And to date, despite the massive increase in flow, there's been minimal to no improvements or suggestions from that report put into action that we've seen. As planned, building lots continue to sell, commercial subdivisions continue to grow, and traffic flow in the area is most certainly on the rise. We, the residents in the area, are here in good faith to rally with council to take part in preventing an issue that would come out of a front page tragedy, something that no family or no council wants to be a part of. At the previous meeting, I implored council to take this issue of public safety seriously, to engage a qualified engineering firm to guide the RM through the proper steps to be taken to make this road safe for travelers. To follow due process, issue an RFQ with a detailed scope of work coming out of the engineering study, and then to decide the path to safely repair the road. After that meeting, our delegation was pleased to hear that council had passed a motion
to issue an RFQ for an engineering study. Sorry, I'm not sure if it was an RFQ or an RFP, but we'll stay with that. For an engineering study on the road so that the repairs could commence, along with the price tag that was committed to and set aside in this year's budget for that engineering study. As of May, all the information that we have received has led us to believe that Public Works staff have taken upon themselves to singularly make a decision to request quotes in some form for minor cosmetic work to be done to this important road. The information we've gathered, we are under the impression that the Infrastructure Committee has since voted to perform the work quoted with no study, no advice, and no real solution. It's our position that the proposed scope of work grossly ignores the safety concerns that we have brought forward. We're left wondering, we need to expand our delegation, we need to share all of our stories, we need to bring our kids in here to talk about what it feels like to slide down that hill, because they've all been there. I'm going to be blunt here, and hopefully council understands where I'm coming from, but not only is it a slap in the face to the residents in the area that took the time to have multiple meetings with councilors, and also took time to come to council as a delegation and present the concern, but to be blunt, you as council should consider it a slap in the face also. The council voted on a motion to get an engineering study. The money was there in the budget and it was approved to be done. Where is the study? Why is a staff member making unilateral decisions on different paths? Bringing out contractors to do scopes of work that they have no clue what they're actually doing. At this point, all that we can see is that there's a staff member out there throwing noodles at the wall, hoping something sticks. To my knowledge, and I may be wrong, the RM does not employ an engineer, nor does it have anyone with any type of qualifications necessary to solve the issues that we presented. I was fortunate enough to have a bit of insight into the process from the quotes, and note that there was really no parameters given to the companies. I believe there was 5 that showed up on the road, with no desired outcomes explained and no scope of work given to them. The tender, I can only assume, will be given to the lowest bidder and work performed to cosmetically improve the road so that we can remove the single lane signs and hopefully forget about it. I'd ask council through you, Mr. Chair, what is the desired outcome? Is it to properly come up with a plan to solve this issue of danger, or is it simply to put lipstick on this pig and move on? The fact that staff are unilaterally making decisions outside of what council has directed is an entirely separate concern, but one that I would suggest should at minimum be discussed with concern at your table. As I begin to digress, I will implore council once again, excuse me, do the right thing, get the right advice, don't waste the RM funds, don't listen to someone who has no knowledge or training on the topic, and don't continue to make residents return to council and plead for something just to be done right. This is a matter of safety. Nobody's asking for an RTAC road system. Nobody's even asking for pavement. All we're asking for is that we don't lose someone we care about, or someone that you care about, or you care about, or you care about, due to a negligence of responsibility. The RM is in receipt of a one-time increased funding from the federal government for infrastructure projects. I have no authority over your budgetary discretion on this. However, that money could be put towards fixing the road and making it safe for travelers. Flat surface work should take a backseat to work that is on a hill or a road or on an incline. It's just a natural thing. So I would also add that to the notes tonight, that I would encourage council to take a serious look at the projects that you're doing in the RM and consider which ones need to be done as a priority. I would urge council to, and I might have my wording wrong, so I apologize, folks, but I would urge council to reject the motion tonight from the committee to enter into a work performing a cosmetic improvement to Ryerson Road and continue with a proper path and an engineering report with an evaluated outcome. No solution is going to be perfect. We all know that, right? We live in the country. We don't control the landscape. Nothing's going to be perfect, but safer is better than prettier. I get the idea behind Public Works is to fix something and move on, remove signs, but that's not really solving what we came here for. At that, I'll digress. I'm well under my 10 minutes, but if anyone would like to ask any questions of me while I'm sitting here, I'm more than willing. If not, I'll move on.
Does anybody have a question for Mr. Simmons? Hope not. Thank you, Jordan,
Yep,
for
perfect.
coming and
Okay.
sharing your thoughts with your delegation. Thank you. Okay, be it resolved that the delegation information presented to council verbally by Jordan Sisson be hereby received. Can I have a motion? Councilor Ross? Councilman Maxwell seconds it. Any questions? All in favor? Yeah. Mr. Sissons, could you email a copy of that delegation to the CEO
Absolutely.
tomorrow? Great. So it's on public record. Thanks. Okay. So that one's done. Moving down. So where did we leave off? On that purchase, right? Oh, no, we did this one here.
We did.
The setback, I believe you got some information for us, Brad, so we can go back to,
Yes, I do.
okay, so
If you-
would you mind sharing it with us so we can make a decision on the
For sure.
one resolution?
So for the AG 80 agricultural general zone where he's located, there's no restriction on where you can put a detached accessory building, so 50 feet. Sorry, anywhere in front of the residence is allowed in the agricultural general zone.
Okay.
No variance would be required, because there's no setbacks to vary for that detached, other than the front yard where he's planning.
Yeah. Okay, great.
So she was talking about the residential. That's a requirement.
Clarified that
The-
I got put through the ringer for nothing. The council charged me $700 for my variance, and he told me that was incorrect information that they did.
Thanks, Brad.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we will go back to, now we can move forward. Which one was, that was 11.1.1, right? The one that we I put it on hold. There's
Oh,
four of them there.
I-
Which one did? we-
11.3.
Is it 11.3? Setback. Oh, yeah, in Narosky, yeah, it was okay. Whereas the applicant, Wes Narosky, and landowners Wes and Susan Narosky of the property legally described as Lot 2, Plan 31140, Roll 68400, applied to council to vary the application of the Cornwallis zoning bylaw number 1664-03, 2016, as amended under Part 5, Table 5.2, to reduce the front yard setback of an accessory building in the Ag 80 zone from 125 to 50 feet. And whereas council held a public hearing to hear representation in favor or in opposition to the application, therefore be it resolved that after careful consideration of the application and any representation made for or against, council hereby approves variation application V0005-24-C. Can I have a mover? Councilor Pound, Councilor Bilhan moves. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. Yeah, okay, we'll take a 2-minute break. We'll just take it. Almost there. Okay. So we got 11.3, I think we're done that one. So 11.6, right? Are we, okay. Be it resolved that financial analyst Kayla Porter be hereby authorized to send professional writing webinars by Mathewson and Company to be held June 17, 18 to 19, 2024, with the registration expense of $280.90. Can I have a move? Councilor Ross, Councilor Maxwell. Yeah, anybody, any question? Yeah, I'll just make a comment. It's our employee and we wanted to get exposed to a lot of municipal professional writing, and I think this is going to be great. Yeah. Okay. I'll call for the question. All in favor? Carried. 11.7, be it resolved that the municipality renew the animal control officer agreement with Wendy Peterson for 2024 to 2028 at the cost of $1,550 per month plus GST. And further be it resolved that the chief administrative officer or the reeve be hereby authorized to sign the said agreement on behalf of the municipality. Can I have a mover? Councillor Durhan, seconder, Councillor Brown. Does anybody have any questions? I just make a comment that the contract was expired. It was the animal control officer in Hawley that found that it'd been expired for over a year, so we got a real good deal at the end of the day, going on the old rate. So normally you would advertise, but the CEO looked into the matter. There's been very little interest in the last number of years, so we'll just move forward with it. Anybody else have any comment? Call for the question. All in favor? Carried. 11.8. Be it resolved that council has no concerns regarding Manitoba Hydro's proposed installation of an overhead primary crossing hoops loop and the hydro pole. Can I have a motion? Councillor Ross, Councillor Durhan, any questions? All in favor? Carried. 11.9, be it resolved that council approve an additional grant to the Waggle Springs Community Center program in the amount of $3,000. Can I have a mover? We've got a mover, seconder? Councillor Ross. Go ahead, Councillor Durhan. No, I mean, go ahead and explain.
I'm not sure what to explain there.
Yeah. We got the letter, so.
It's just Waggle Springs has requested some extra funding for their senior services in the Sprucewood area, so they've asked for a special council as long as our budget's okay with it.
Get something there, Councillor? Get something?
It's another service club that's in one of our condensed communities, and living rurally, it's important to have services like that. And so we have seniors that take advantage of the facility from time to time. So it's important that those types of services and buildings be made available for the citizens.
I'll just make a comment here. Obviously, our community centers are done by volunteers. That's a hall that's we own the Sprucewoods Hall, and we gave them $5,000 this year. Given we've already approved $2,000 for Waggle Springs, so we're just topping it up, meeting. They'll get $5,000 this year from us. I will suggest anybody that's in the Sprucewoods area, go to Waggle Springs from 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock, I believe 5 days a week, for a cup of coffee. I hear there's a lot of world problems getting solved there, so I'm going to encourage, go out there and have a cup of coffee and a breakfast, cheap breakfast, I hear. So let's keep supporting the community centers, because you can see a lot of them in the areas are closing down, so it's good. Okay, I'll call for the question. All in favor? Carried. Okay. In camera.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman, there was one missed here.
There was two missed, yeah.
Which one did we,
10.1.1.
what, 10?
10.1.
10, sorry. Okay, sorry, yeah, 10.1. Which other one was there? Was the one on top? 10?
And the Marsden Road. Yeah, which
Oh,
is,
yeah. Well, that's bouncing back and forth, I'm sorry.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't have the agenda. Okay, we'll go to 10.1.1. Whereas Sampson Engineering completed a Lake Clemente assessment and solution reported funded by the 2022 Disaster Financial Assistance deductible under the Mitigation and Preparedness Program, MPP, through Manitoba Emergency Measures Organization. Therefore, be it resolved that council authorize Phil Dorn of Sampson Engineering to provide the current lake level of Lake Clemente and the level at which an inundated property is in imminent danger, which will require council to declare a state of local emergency to protect the property. Be it further resolved that council also authorized the placement of a permanent lake level marker on the east side of Lake Clementi. Can I have a mover? Councilor Maxwell? Anybody, any questions, comments?
How much is a lake
Yeah.
level marker?
Yeah, that's good point. I got a couple other ones. What's the dollar values?
I'm sorry, I don't know.
$500. Okay. What was the quote?
Where is,
But
and where's it to be placed? Level
on the east side on our property, on our road lots,
has it been identified? Like, does he know where to put it? Is it,
no, he's not putting it, it'll be put in after the fact, once we get the measure. Like, it's not, Phil won't be putting it in, he's just gonna get the measure, do the measure. Get the level,
get the level, and how much is that gonna cost?
that's where that one,
$1,800?
I don't know, how much it's gonna cost.
Should we get the quote first?
I don't know. I'm following up on a comment that came from you.
Yeah, I called him. Yeah, well, he said it would take 3 hours
Okay.
but he
I
didn't
don't
give it
know
to
how
me.
much it would be.
I didn't authorize it because
No, I know, but
Yeah.
you said it
was-
required
he said he could
resolution,
do
so
it in
that's why I had the
3 hours.
resolution back for it.
why don't we get an official quote and get him to do it? I mean, there's no screaming rush.
Yeah, okay, as long as it keeps raining, it might just very well be, but okay.
Yeah. We'll
So,
get, basically the information, get a quotation for an engineer to go out to make a,
you would delay
mark.
this till the next regular meeting then?
no,
Okay.
we can have a special meeting or,
Well, I'd like to see it done right away, so we know where we're at, because the water's up and we don't know. So,
so how do you want to deal with it? Just give him a blank check? Councilor Maxwell?
to a maximum of 3 hours of his later time, I'll put it.
Yeah, then that was a phone call. When it
Because
was-
I didn't talk,
Yeah, I phoned him that day when you called me, when it was
Yeah.
snowing, and he said it would take 3 hours to
to
No.
GPS the level,
check where the level is.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to let.
and that's what we're.
So that's all you're looking for is to check where the level is.
And based on his experience, to provide us the level at which he thinks we are in jeopardy, the property is in jeopardy, that's what the second, therefore. He's done this, he knows this project inside and out, so he should have tell us. Because this council may be put in a position of having to declare a state of the local emergency.
Yeah, if you have to do that, you need some sort of information. You want to put some sort of price tag on it, I get that.
Well, we're gonna give him 3 hours.
3 hours,
3 hours max?
and then,
Yeah.
will I get a,
No,
Marker
I
as
think public works is probably, probably a marker, once we know what the level is, because they have to be graduated. So you know where it's moving.
Yeah.
So you want to get the level location?
Yeah.
And that's all you want for now. Where we are,
Where we are and his opinion as to where it is in jeopardy, where we should be considering it. The inundated property and imminent danger, that's what we need to know. He's the one that has the knowledge, so.
okay. Anybody else got any? Okay, I'll call for the question. All in favor, just to get the number. Yeah. Okay. Now we got another one there, Marsden Road. Okay. Yeah. Oh,
Sorry, I missed that. Everybody was in favor of that
yes,
one?
Carrie.
And
Oh,
it
I
was
thought-
just to
sorry.
get the marker, but it was to have him do a maximum of 3 hours to get the level. And the placement, did you want to still put that in there? Or
He wouldn't be doing that. Phil,
Right.
The engineer would do that.
authorize the placement of permanent lake level on east side of the road?
Okay. You okay with that? It was carried. Like everybody was in favor.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Whereas the Marsden Road repair from the north side of Silky Way to the north side of Highway 459 was reviewed on May 23rd, 2024 by the Transportation Committee meeting with the Public Works Supervisor. Be it resolved that the CEO be hereby authorized to sign the Burns Mandel Engineering Service Agreement to investigate, to recommend, and prepare a final design in the amount of $32,800 plus taxes. There's the motion.
Mr. Chairperson, I'm gonna motion that to get this on the floor. There's a lot that we need to discuss about this.
Yep.
I'm gonna make that motion.
Yep.
The
You
About
got
the
motion?
engineering study?
So we got a seconder? And to get it on the table, we got,
to get it on the table,
Yeah.
that's right.
you got the mover, or you're the mover, who's gonna second?
So you're moving the second one?
To the engineering study.
Yeah, it's both Travis and then or. So you're doing the
Well, okay,
engineering
if
study one, that's what we're,
Yeah, to discuss the Burns Mandel Engineering Service Agreement.
to get on the floor?
Yep.
Yeah, second,
Okay,
yeah.
second on the floor. Go ahead, Councilor.
So, Mr. Chairperson, I agree that we need to have a certified plan for that road, as we do for another road in municipality that has similar, but not as bad condition as this road. But I also firmly believe that we need to spend money on the road now to make it passable and drivable. It cannot exist in the condition that it is right now. So I think we should do both. We've seen an estimate from Burns Mandel that to truly replace that road or to fix it to a passable state that you can put an engineering stamp on is going to cost a considerable amount more than what we're spending right there. However, we cannot leave the road in the situation, in the condition that it's in right now. We have to spend some money on it to make it passable for another year. And that road will have to go through the same process of upgrade and debate that another road in our municipality has also been subject to.
My Lone Road, yeah. No, Councilor Ross, I totally agree. We have to do something, but to go and dig out 2 feet of granular material when we don't know what the granular material is, I mean, that's what the engineer would do for us. And what happens if you look at the problem I'm having with Public Works direction is exactly what Mr. Sissons was talking about in his delegation. We didn't provide them with a work scope. The work scope came from the contractors. It was a verbal, when you go tender, you don't do verbally. We should have written it out like I expressed at the Transportation Committee meeting. And I do agree that road is unacceptable right now. I think we can do something in the interim until the engineer goes out there and checks.
Well,
For line
that's something is what's described right there. But like I said, the cost to upgrade this road considerably is going to be a long-term project that we wouldn't be able to do this year anyway.
That's the concern I have, that the engineering study shows 12 weeks before they come out with their proposal, then they got a tender, then once they get that, we're looking quite a ways out here to get through this
You're
now.
looking into
And that
that.
road isn't gonna get touched until that time. So the other concern, and I don't know if anybody wants to talk about it, the fact is that's a boundary road. And Whitehead should be paying for half of this. And if you think that we're gonna be able to go and convince them to pay half of the dollars we were hearing it was gonna cost, I don't think so. For a road that has nobody in Cornwallis actually coming out on it, there's another way out there. If the road's bad, close it. I know you probably don't want to hear that, but that's the fact. There is another way out. I mean, when our bridge was out, we went around. The road is no good. It's not safe. Don't drive on it. Close it. That's what we're there for, to make it safe. So we need 2 things. You've got to, first, Whitehead, who's going to talk to them and say, we want half the money? Because they are obligated to give us something, are they not? It's a boundary road. And secondly, the engineering thing's gonna take a long time. We need to do something right now. We need to do something in 2024.
And that's my thought on this, is that this is just the right now work. And we need the engineers to come up with a long-term plan, which we're gonna have to, consider as a capital expenditure and plan for that in coming years, like we are for another road in the
I
municipality.
agree, but the challenge I'm having, we should actually be the ones, perhaps with the direction from our engineer, to put the work scope on paper. What Council Ross is saying is to fix it immediately, in the interim, just to get us going until he has an engineering, because we could be going spending $74,000, and when the report comes back, we might have to take all that material back off to repair what we tried fixing. I think there is an opportunity here to do something in the interim, but not for the 74,000. I don't think we need to spend $74,000 like the Tri-Wave quote we're ready to approve. I agree, 12 weeks, and I think if the CEO would reach out to the engineering firm, if he could expedite it, but I think with Mr.
Still
Burns'
looking
help.
at in excess of, are we gonna throw numbers around here? We're looking at $250,000.
Yep.
For
If,
600 meters of road.
Yep.
Like, I'm sorry, but I won't put my hand up for that.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's needs repaired, okay, let's fix it. If we can't fix it, then close it.
well, to close the road, you're gonna have to public hearing, and I
I'm
don't,
just saying, close the temporary, put a sign that says local traffic only. If it's really bad, but the fact is, there was a drainage issue and they identified a fix for that, right? I think that it was identified.
well, they've got a recommendation,
Yeah.
but I think until the engineering study gets done, to find out where all the lines are, there's fiber there, a gas line, telephone. We need to find out where those lines are before he can give you a rough estimate where to bring it to. I think there's springs under that road, and just to go remove 2 feet of granule, put weeping tie in there, put the newer granule back in, I think that's a waste of money until we get good professional help. I think an engineer has to tell us what to do from a safety point of view. Like, in the interim, I think you could spend a few $1,000s to make it passable at least out there, but I don't think we need to spend
We have
$70,000.
to do that if it's.
Yeah. We need some help, immediate help, and I think with direction from the engineer without the proposed study. But I think we have to give him a chance to give us a recommendation with that proposed study.
Well, being devil's advocate here, if we pay Tri-Wave 74,000 to do the job, it might be the only money we need to spend. They might come back, burn the deal and say, that's a really good job. They need to do any more.
There's a very good chance we could get half of that from Whitehead. I don't think we're gonna get half of 300,000.
And the beauty about doing this right now, it's solving a major problem in the interim. If it needs more later on, well, so be it, we'll have to do more, but as Mr. Sisson says, it's dangerous. This is gonna hopefully not put just a Band-Aid on it. I think it can be done relatively good for that. Just my opinion.
But something should have been done actually here in the last 2-3 months in the interim. The problem we got out there, we got no ditches, we got nowhere's, and there's nothing identified in the quotes. How far are we gonna, how deep are we gonna make the ditches? Our engineers would tell us. So the first thing we have to do is locate those lines. That's the first thing you gotta do, because you can't leave lines semi-exposed. And I think we need an engineer working with Public Works to go out there. What can we do to get us to a point where we can get the engineering study done? That's what I'm saying. I think we need engineering help out there, folks.
Again, the problem is, an engineer is gonna add, well, I do agree, we need an engineer to tell us what to do long term.
Yeah.
That's not gonna fix a road short term.
I agree. Councilor Ross, I totally agree. Can we get them out there to get at least so it's passable and drivable while the study's going on versus spending the $74,000? Like if you're talking putting drainage tile underneath a road, we can't afford our employees to make that decision. We need, and that's what this quote says, like it will require putting drainage tile in. Where's it gonna drain to? We need an engineer to tell us the minute you put that drainage tile in there, if you're not gonna reshape the ditches, that drainage tile could be useless. So that's where I'm saying, could we get the engineer out there working with Public Works to say, okay, in the interim, to get us to the next phase, do that. I don't want to put that burden on our employees to go out there telling the contractor what to do when we're not qualified. The lines are a real concern out there, gas line. Yeah. And once erosion starts, and we might be liable to let the engineer put it in writing what he recommends. And I think I'm convinced if the CEO would reach out to him saying this is an emergency, can we get immediate help versus the 12 weeks? The 12 weeks was concerning as well, but I'm convinced that we heard it twice now from the residents there. The traffic is going to increase with the TSIP project up there.
So are we gonna then ask the engineer to immediately mark the lines and ask Public Works to come up with a less expensive short-term fix?
Short term, yeah, that's what I would do. Is allow him to give him the idea and tell Shane to call Dan out there or his engineer. What can we do to make that road acceptable while the study's going on? And you might have a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 fix in the interim.
We would never do that.
Yeah. Yeah, just to get us by.
What about the Whitehead issue?
The Whitehead. I did talk to, we haven't had a chance to sit down with Whitehead. It's our residents that are most at risk out there. The Keller development has increased, will increase more traffic. We can talk, once we have a definite cost, we'll bring Whitehead to the table. In fact, I think we have to come to the table with them anyways, with the road on the southern part. And we can talk, but because it's a major safety issue, I don't think we should wait for a meeting. Let's get immediate help. And once Dan comes back with a number, we can ask them if they're willing to do something. But I think most of the traffic is from us, from our residents out there.
I do like Councilor Maxwell's suggestion of putting the local traffic only sign up there.
How are you gonna police it? If it's local traffic, how are you gonna stop the golf building not to use that traffic? And or else Darwin is out there. That would be a tough one to police.
So what is the motion?
Well, the one I read, that's the motion.
No.
Yeah.
Thought,
Yeah, I wanted to change it to include a fix as well.
Okay, go right ahead. That's the motion on the floor. It's your motion there, Councilor Ross.
Well, like I did say, be it resolved that CEO be hereby authorized to sign the Burns Mandel Engineering Services Agreement to investigate, recommend, prepare a final design in the amount of $32,800 plus taxes, and therefore be it resolved that council ask the Public Works Supervisor to come up with a lower cost temporary fix for Marsden Road.
With the assistance of an engineer or?
Well, the engineer would be marking the
Yeah.
lines, yeah. There's a bunch of ancillary work that needs to happen in the background. We have to reach out to Whitehead.
And we need a meeting with Whitehead. We got 2 projects on the Boundary Road.
Sorry, you're gonna have to give me that one more time.
Be it resolved that council ask the public works supervisor,
So be resolved that the public works supervisor be requested to provide a
lower cost
lower cost
temporary fix for Marsden Road.
So you want to both approve Burns Mandel to do the engineering services agreement for a final design, and public works supervisor be requested to provide a low cost temporary to fix Marsden Road this season, like.
Immediately, yeah. And I'm very confident the engineer will go out there and work with our people. And come
With
up
the
a
assistance of the
recommendation.
engineer? Is that,
Yeah,
And what's that cost gonna be?
well,
Engineer, it's mine, check.
well, at the end of the day,
Down here for
yeah.
them to-
Well, if there's a long-term solution.
to maximum of 3 hours? Yeah. I just don't know if he's going to be able to come up with that, because I think the idea was, let's provide this fix. But I mean, we can ask.
Well, the first thing he'll tell you, and he told us, you got no ditch.
N-
You
No,
gotta
no,
create a ditch first.
not Burns Mandel.
Yeah.
Well, both Burns, I mean,
I know it throws a monkey wrench into a lot of stuff.
yeah, it's kind of
But we
like
need a fix.
neither, but yet. Yeah.
And he might go out there for that cost, just to do it in the interim while because he has to go out there anyways.
That engineering study, it included tendering though as well, right? When they're finished,
Yeah.
it would include tendering.
I do believe that was
Yeah.
drawings and everything, but we won't need a drawing.
Place to get at that till 25. That large project.
Mm. Oh, for sure.
So we need something done now.
I got it right here. I believe it does include. It's got a whole bunch of it.
You can't band-aid it. It has to be from something more nature than just a fix, a small fix. In my mind. The hill should have been looked at 15 years ago.
Sorry, what was that, Bob?
But just saying it should have been looked at 15 years ago.
Yeah. The first part. Sorry.
A Band-Aid amount isn't gonna be anything. You could spend $10,000, $15,000.
Yeah. Tender package, yeah.
Yeah, that's
It will,
why.
Yeah,
yeah.
2.8. Generate a front-end specification package.
Maybe this needs to go back to the committee, transportation committee.
Well, I think
I
we need
got it.
immediate action, though. I mean, the road needs immediate action.
Mr. Chair, I know it's not normal procedure, but can I say something from the chief seats back here to council to maybe help this process that you're in, or no? Is that allowed, or can you
No.
recess so I can?
It's not allowed
I know
because
it's not really, like, if
Yeah.
I just keep talking though, will you just let me talk?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
can't really stop it. I guess we can pretend we're not listening.
Yeah.
No,
Pretend we're
right.
not listening. Like what Mr. Ross was saying, I think is a viable solution. You're approving the engineering study for the long-term fix, which can't be done this year. And at the same time, you're approving a $74,000 fix to make it safe until you get to that
I'm not
point.
really talking to you, but did you say it can't be done this year and you're willing to accept that? Because I'm thinking two more. One.
You're not listening to me and I'm not answering you, but like, I don't think that the actual proper fix that any engineer is gonna come up with can be done in the 2024 building season. It's just not gonna be feasible. We're gonna have snow on the ground in front of them,
Well-
with this 12-week process.
We
So I
already
think-
knew that.
No, that,
Yeah.
not that I'm interjecting, but I think what Mr. Ross was saying was approve the $32,000 to get the study, to get to that long-term phase in 25 or 26, maybe completion, who knows? But for now, approve the $75,000 to make it safe to pass, where we don't have to shut the road down, we don't have to, throw our hands up in the air. I think it's the best of all worlds, but I didn't say anything, I'm just gonna be quiet.
We never heard a word. Okay, so, two motions. Could you do a vote? Or you don't just go like I think you can get right with the shared trust, that, especially when they've got one going on down south that we gotta share half. That's all I'm looking at.
Well, isn't that what you suggested in the beginning? We do both of them? We can do both of them.
Would you do two motions then? Or do you have-
Well, I guess if there's some voting, it probably works a little bit easier to do two. If one gets defeated or whatever, but I can. So one motion would be to accept the quote, and the other motion would be to do the Burns Mandel.
It would be two separate things.
Two separate
If
motions.
you're all in
Okay.
agreement that it's not gonna get done this year, then that would be.
Yeah, I agree. The long term's not gonna get, most likely not gonna get done, okay? What I'm struggling with, you heard it from our engineer right here, that we don't have a ditch out there. And the $74,000 does not deal with deepening the ditches. That's what we're hearing. There's
Next
spring,
year's does, though.
what's that?
Next year would, like the one we're gonna do.
The Burns Mandel will.
He would look after that.
You're right,
On
but
the big project,
but-
which we have to budget for.
But the 74 would not deal, what's it gonna change? We're removing 2 feet of granule, put weekly tie in, but.
What it's gonna do is move the water underground as opposed to on the surface washing
But
up
it's
the
gotta
road.
get somewhere. That's what our engineer was saying. It's got nowhere to go at the end of that. Because we've got no ditch. And to create a ditch, you need to know where the
There's-
utilities are.
There's a slough down there on the right-hand side of,
That's where it's going to.
what's that?
That's where it would go. huh?
Yeah, on the west side of the road, Marsden Road at the bottom, there's a slough.
And you see, there's been some discussion about removing that approach. That's the place, right? They want to pull one approach out, right, it's on the right-hand side.
Yep.
And so they were trying to get down to convince their, that with that one approach, which was also gonna have range, I think, wasn't it? Wasn't that kind of, wasn't that backing up? I don't know. That was kind of what he said.
Yeah, I did talk to the Reeve Trevor there at the MM conference, and I told him what we're doing there, and he said, keep them abreast. They want to sit down, but we're waiting for Holly
He
to.
brings his check.
Well, I didn't tell him any numbers, but he did say they got a project in the south side, and they'd like to talk to us, and with a busy CEO. So it's up to the mover. So you want to do the engineering study plus the $74,000 fix, okay?
Now we want to do them both? I was going to separate them into two.
Two motions is fine.
Yep.
I'm going to separate them. Yeah.
Okay, so we got the engineering one is the one you moved, that's on the table, seconded. Okay,
So I did change it, so I'm gonna change it back to the original of be it resolved that the CO be hereby authorized to sign the Burns Mandel Engineering Services Agreement to investigate, recommend, and prepare a final design in the amount of $32,800 plus tax.
Okay,
that
we'll
was
just-
the mover. You did second, I'll call for the question on that one. All in favor? Okay, so that one is on record, so now
Hang
we're back up.
on, hang on. Okay, so long-term solution,
So
signing the, okay, moved by
Counselor Ross. and
Ross.
Counselor Rohan, seconded.
Drohan. So
And it was
CO be
carried.
hereby authorized to sign the Burns Mandel Engineering Services to blah, 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 32,000. Okay. Carried unanimously.
Yep.
Ready?
Tell me when you're ready.
Now the first one, which should be there if you refresh.
So I'll read the other one, the way you had it before. Whereas the Marsden Road repair from the north side of Silky Way to the north side of Highway 459 was reviewed at the March 23rd, 2024 Transportation Committee meeting with the Public Works Supervisor, be it resolved that council accept the quote from Tri-Wave in the amount of $74,264.84 plus taxes for the work to be completed this season.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Council Ross has that one now. Council Gruhan seconds it. Any questions?
I just wondered, we want to add in that we want to approach Whitehead for contribution. It is a boundary road.
I have no problem. Yeah,
We should approach them for when it's, the project is actually in place for the expensive one.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, we can just tell them about that. But I'm just wondering if we should put it in because it is something else.
I'd like to call a meeting myself, like,
Yeah.
once the CEOs.
Like, we have to meet with them anyways, and if we have I'm pretty sure I have an agreement with them that says we have to request this.
Yeah, and
So,
you know, if
yeah.
they say no, it doesn't change my mind.
Yeah.
This-
Yeah.
This road's a turkey trail. It's gotta get fixed.
No, but it's just that they have that other one set and we're unlikely to say no because we've done away with
Or they might jump at the chance to say yes to this one so that they don't have to say yes to the next one.
Okay, good. Anybody else got any questions? I'll call for the question. All in favor? Okay, so we get the ball rolling. Okay. So, did we miss anything else? We were bouncing around so much. I think we got them all.
Yeah.
Yep. There's one for the city. Now we'll go down to 12 in camera. Number 12. Be it resolved in accordance with the Municipal Act, Section 152(3), council do hereby close the meeting to the public and move into camera at 8:54 PM to discuss personnel matter, a matter that is preliminary stages in respecting which discussion in public should be prejudice to the municipality's ability to carry out its activities and negotiations. The conduct of existing and anticipating legal proceedings, the conduct of investigation under or enforcement of or act or bylaw, the security of documents and premises, a report from the ombudsman received by the head of council. Be it therefore resolved that council agree to keep in confidence all matters discussed at this closed session. I have a mover. Council Maxwell. Council Brown seconds it. Any questions? All in favor? Okay, we'll go in camera. That will be done. Shouldn't be too long, folks. We'll go.
Are we done? So I can
Yeah.
turn that
Yeah,
off?
we're done. You too.
Walking behind the money. Yeah.
It's the 270 is what it is. Like it would connect to the 270, so like if you did rivers or cities. After the call.